Financial infidelity, it's a real thing, and that's our conversation today. I'm Dr. Doug Weiss. If you have yet to subscribe, please hit the button. We have over 1,000 videos to help you do life incredibly better. And if you have a question, put it in the box. Financial infidelity is real. Now, I've been counseling people for about 40 years, and I have run across a form of infidelity that's not talked about very often. You know, when you think of infidelity, you think of cheating, you think of pornography, you think in those kind of romantic, emotional affairs. But when there's a secret about finances, and someone finds out, like one case I remember that the couple came in for a 5-day intensive in our office in Colorado Springs at Heart Counseling Center. And the woman was discussing their marriage and they were discussing their story. But part of their story was this man took all of their daughter's college funds they saved up for years, many years, and spent it on gambling without telling his wife. And when she found out, she felt as betrayed as any other woman I've met who's been betrayed in many other ways. She felt robbed, stolen from, lied to, questioning her past, questioning who he was in the past, the present, or the future, questioning who they are, past, present, and future, and robbing his family of the children's future so that he could gamble on the internet. She was beyond livid. Or the man or woman who maybe has resources, but they have a secret account, they have secret credit cards, they have secret investments, they have a secret trust fund. I know one lady who was married had a ton, millions of dollars in a trust fund, and they were newly married, only 2 or 3 years into their marriage. And she was asking the question, do I tell him? That would have been really good to discuss early in the relationship, and she had to find her way through that process. But see, all of this can be interpreted and experienced as financial infidelity. So when you're doing marriage, you can do your resources any way you want. But it's really best if it's honest, and it's even better if it's an agreement. You know, people understand we have different resources coming in, especially if this is your second or third marriage, or if you're over 50, 60 years old and you've accumulated a lot of assets, and for whatever reason you find yourself trying to communicate, discuss this, manage this, and if the second or third marriage there's a significant inequity between your financial lives, these are challenging conversations, especially if the children are looking forward to their inheritance and you have to manage these kind of things, and there's legal agreements you make or don't make, those kind of issues come up. What I want to communicate is financial secrets can feel like infidelity. And if you have financial secrets, it's best to discuss them. And if you don't feel safe, talk to a counselor first. Find out what your fears, concerns are. Find out what your legal protections are. And then be able to maybe navigate the conversation. In marriage, and if this is your first and only marriage, most states all your property is joint, and you need to find out what your legal ramifications are. But to have secret credit cards, you know, maybe you're spending more than you're telling your spouse, that's going to end up poorly. If you're gambling and you're spending money on that, if you're doing all the Bitcoin, XRP, you're doing that kind of stuff, it's another form of gambling. If you're investing, it's on the stock market, it's another form of gambling. And this is all fine and good as long as your spouse is in agreement and you perceive these issues equally. When it may be that you both agree, hey, you have separate money, I have separate money. And as long as you're in agreement, that's a fine agreement. Maybe one person pays these bills, you pay these bills. You're in agreement, you're fine. You do your taxes jointly or separately. You do them together. You both know what the asset bases are, real estate, investments, portfolios, 401ks, all that kind of stuff. And you come together and everyone's honest about what's on the table. Dishonesty is the issue with financial infidelity. It's not about the money. Although, if it's a significant amount of money that's being held secret, or a secret amount of debt, and it's significant, it's going to impact the relationship. Because it's not about the money, it's about you don't trust me. And it's okay to have different levels of financial, let's say, histories. But when you get married, have you decided to be honest or dishonest? If you trust your spouse, that it's okay to be honest, even if you protect those assets. If you don't trust your spouse, they're going to sense that in other areas of your relationship. They're going to feel the secrecy, they're going to feel lack of intimacy. It can affect your spiritual life, your emotional life, even your sexual life, because there's this sense of, I don't know everything. And I've worked with thousands of couples, and when one person has a knower inside of them that says, my knower knows there's something I don't know, it chews at them and it can evaporate some of the love that is built up over the years. So my encouragement is, of course, if you have these things, to address them in an open, honest format. If you've gotten caught in financial infidelity, this is not a time to continue secrets if you want to continue the marriage or the relationship. This is a time to probably come clean, know what your legal ramifications are, know what your money status is, your financial stuff, even if it's in another country and you think it's not traceable, it's still not honest. And you guys can run credit reports on each other. You can find out what assets are really known to the banks. You can find that stuff out. You can have counseling and work through the issues. Because I know of couples who, one person spends a lot but doesn't work, and so they're given an allowance, and then they get mad about that, but they have not been responsible. And there might be reasons why some of these systems are in place. There might be trust that has been broken, and so you're trying to protect your assets when that person is not responsible. All of that can be discussed in counseling, and you can find a counselor. If you can't, call us at 719-278-3708. We can help you talk through this. Probably for this, I would do an intensive, at least 3 or 5 days, so that you can really walk through the trust, mistrust issues, have boundaries, set up a structure that's equitable, and it can even be validated that there are no more secrets. There is ways to restore a relationship after financial infidelity. Although trust has been damaged, it doesn't have to break the relationship. I've seen couples rebuild after financial infidelity and build trust and put things into the marriage structure that allows them to go forward without secrets. So my hope is that if you have experienced emotional infidelity, you are going to grieve, you're going to be hurt, okay? You're going to have shock, you're going to have denial, you're going to have anger, you're going to have bargaining, you're going to have sadness. All of those are normal, okay? You're going to feel angry, you really are. The men and women who've been financially betrayed have done incredible amounts of anger work because of the betrayal. It's legit betrayal. So you might have some of those trauma symptoms from that betrayal. And this can heal, whether individually or as a marriage. And if you need help, we want to help you get through this and see if there's a way to repair and move you guys forward. Because oftentimes I've found in a situation where there's financial infidelity, there's other areas of trust that are stable, and we just can build with what you bring. So I hope this has been helpful. If you have been traumatized by financial infidelity, call our office, talk to a counselor, talk through it so you can do the work you need to do to heal. Because even if you set the structure up, you might have to work with the betrayal issues. And there's even neurological things that can happen from the betrayal. And you can ask my office about the neuromodulation treatment for that. There's hope. I've seen couples be restored. It doesn't have to be the end of the relationship, but it can be the end of the secrets, which can build a much more happily ever after portfolio for your marriage. If you haven't subscribed, please do that. If you have a question, please hit the button.